I want to share with you 5 copywriting books that were vital in helping me hit 10K a month with this skill, and then give you my favorite notes from each book. So let's get right into it. The first is the Adweek Copywriting Handbook. This is written by Joseph Sugarman. This guy is a goat because what he would do is he had his own magazine. So he would pretty much like find products, write insane copy for them, and sell them in his magazine, kind of like an OG drop shipper. This dude was so good at writing copy, and one of my favorite books of all time. I think every single one of you guys should read this. But let's go over the notes and the things that I learned from Joseph from this book. So the first thing is you need to become an expert on a product to sell it effectively. So the better you understand the product, the more you're going to be able to sell it. And every product has a nature to it that you must understand to create an effective marketing concept. So basically, in order to sell a product, you need to have this unique selling proposition. And every product has this core essence about it. And if you can find that essence and truly understand it, then you can use it to sell a ton of that product. Let me give you guys an example. Like, just think about anything you can think of. Like, you must have, like, this microphone. If the key to selling this microphone is this warm tone you get on vocals, then that's like the key to selling it. Like, that's the big benefit. That's like the essence of why people would buy it. That's just like a rushed example, but you guys get what I'm saying here. So you must have everything has a nature to it. So for instance, when I was selling my low ticket school, I called it digital persuasion. That's because I was trying to sell copywriting. And so what I did was I figured out, like, what is the essence of copywriting? Why are people drawn to it? Well, it's because they can do it digitally and they can persuade people. And it sounded cool. That was kind of the essence of selling the idea of copywriting. So pretty cool. Next is copywriting is primarily the mental process of organizing thoughts in your mind and then transferring them to paper. So the reason I started to learn copywriting is because I wanted to get better at making valuable stuff, to be honest, valuable YouTube videos, valuable products. And I understood that, man, if I learn how to copyright, I can pretty much learn how to just succeed online, because I can learn how to take my ideas, organize them, and put them in a way that's compelling to others. And so because of this, the key to start copywriting is to just write every single day, and never care about the first draft. And if you guys wonder why I make so many YouTube videos, it's because this is me practicing this. I'm practicing my writing. I'm practicing my thought organizing every single day. So pretty cool. Next is all the elements in an ad are primarily designed to do one thing: get you to read the first sentence. And so while I don't necessarily believe this, or I don't agree with this 100% of the time, this taught me a very, very important lesson, which is you always want to think of things as far as getting your reader to the next step. It's like the goal of the headline is to get people to read the start of the lead. The goal of the lead is to get people to read the rest of the copy. The goal of the rest of the copy is to get them to read the offer. The goal of the offer is to get them to click the like call to action. You always want to think as your copy. Think of your copy like as this long kind of sequence, this system to move readers down. And so this helps when thinking of email subject lines. Like the entire goal of the email subject line is to get them to click on the email. The entire goal of the email is to get them to click the call to action. So you don't have to accomplish everything with every single part of your copy. Like, it just needs to serve its one purpose. So that was a really good lesson that I learned from this book. Probably one of the most important lessons that I took away from this one is this. This is huge. And this goes a lot deeper than just a tactic, like a tip or trick. When you really understand this, it changes everything. This is honestly kind of the key to sales, the key to YouTube, the key to everything. You have to get your reader in a selling environment, in a buying environment. If you get them to like you and you make statements that are honest, that are believable, and you have harmony with them, that's what creates that connection and creates that desire for them to take an action with you. So I try to do this really hard in my YouTube videos. Like, I try to be just a likable person. I try to be honest with you guys. I try to be to the point, no fluff. That way I have harmony with you. So if you're watching so far, like we probably feel some sort of harmony from this video. You might not know why, but this is huge, and this is what leads people to buy. Like, I've had people copy my exact sales copy for my sales pages, my school, like everything, and they didn't make any sales, and they wonder why. They copied the exact same words, but it's because they did not create harmony. with their entire like funnel, with their entire brand, everything. Harmony is key. Don't lose it. This is a really, really, really good lesson to take away here. Cool. And all these will be in my notes later, which I'll give to you guys. This one was huge for me. This was big, which was every word has an emotion with it and it tells a story. So you can say the same exact thing, but how you say it changes everything. So think about this. An old woman in a motel versus a little old lady in a cottage. These sentences could be interchanged for the situation. It's just like an older woman staying somewhere. But it changes the entire story that you see in your head just by changing the words that describe it. So pretty crazy. And then every good ad is an emotional outpouring of words, feelings, and impressions. You sell an emotion, but you justify the purchase with logic. So you must create this emotional feeling of harmony in selling, but then also back it up with truth and logic. So cool. And understand that every single word has that feeling to it. So whenever you say farmer, what do you think of a farmer? Well, it's hardworking, kind of rough, integrity, like down south, kind of redneck, like maybe even not as smart. Like these are all words that you kind of associate with a farmer, whether it's true or not. So think about the feeling of each word that you write. It changes everything. Another theme that you'll see across like all these books is you never are selling a product or service. You're selling a concept. You're selling the idea. And the idea is what does the selling. So I use this directly in digital persuasion school. And the reason I use this example so much is because I always want to talk about things that I have done so that you guys can, so that I have credibility. And so when selling that school that did like 80K in a couple months, just with a sales page, I sold the concept of digital persuasion. I didn't try to sell the school. I sold the concept. And once you believed in that concept, it was just the next logical decision to purchase the school, right? So always sell the concept, not the product or service. And this goes for every email. This goes for everything you do, guys. You always want to be selling a concept. So you can even go back and like watch this in my videos. Like watch me sell the trick I'm giving you, or sell the tactic I'm giving you. I'm selling the concept first, then I give you guys the actual value. That way you see the value in what I'm giving you, the information. Next is the 7 steps to great copy. First is become an expert at what you sell. Become an expert on your customer. This is huge. I could write, in fact, I have written a book on this. I have a 2-hour module in my course about how important this is of understanding your customer and how to do that. I cannot state how important this is enough. Then write a curious headline and subject line, spew out raw copy, edit your copy, stop and just let your brain think about it, and then repeat 5 and 6. This is how I wrote all my best sales copy. My sales page that did 80K a month, the like sales video that I have that's done over, not 80K a month, sorry, 80K in total, and then the other one that's done 300K that you can see in the description. I spew out raw emotional copy, then I edit it, then I stop, come back later and do the same thing. This is how you write some really good copy, guys. Okay, let's keep going. Copy should feel personal. Cool. And yeah, here's like the biggest thing on editing, which is you want to refine your copy in order to keep that raw emotion, but use in the most concise and fewest words possible. So if you don't just have this raw first draft, you're going to miss out on the raw emotion. But if you don't edit it, the emotion is not going to be concise and people are going to get bored and they're going to click off or go away from your copy. So the best way to do this is just to really focus on spewing that raw emotion first, then coming back and editing later. And it's kind of 2 different sides of your brain. So you kind of want to like spew raw emotion straight and then come back later with a different side of your brain and edit it and get rid of unnecessary words, combine sentences, make everything flow good. So those are some of my biggest lessons from this book. And I'm going to give you guys more at the end of this video. Moving on to book number 2, which is Take Their Money by Kyle Milligan. Kyle Milligan is younger than I think everyone else on this list, with the exception of maybe Russell Brunson. I don't know. Yeah, I think Kyle Milligan is the youngest, and I think he makes YouTube videos as well, so shout out to Kyle. But this book changed everything for me when I wrote it, like when I read it. It basically taught me the fundamentals of copy that I had lacked from watching other YouTubers or from reading other books. Like this gave me this solid foundation of understanding what copywriting is. And the big idea of this book is copywriting is a language. And even if you teach someone a few words, they might not understand the whole language. This is where I feel like a lot of you guys are at right now. It's like you get some of these tactics, you understand some of these tips and tricks and things that you say, but you're missing the why. Like, why are you saying these things? And so this is what changed my view on copywriting as a whole. And it got me to start trying to understand the actual language of copywriting. And what he means by this is like the emotional part of the brain is triggered by things deeper than just the words. Like it goes much deeper than the words on the page. It's the deeper why behind what you're saying. And so to do this, I just followed his exact template. Like I read a piece of copy per day. I wrote a piece of copy per day, and I came up with one idea per day. I follow this. I still follow this to this day. I've done this probably every day for almost 200 days in a row. Like this is how you become good. And you start by actively reading. And so as you read good copy, you try to ask yourself, why was this written? Not what did he say, but like, why did he say these things? And don't just read copywriting books, read good copy. I've given you guys tons of stuff in the past, like resources and whatnot. You can just go watch all my old videos. There's tons of resources. But yeah, just go read good copy and take notes of what they were doing. So when I first started my journey, I would go find every piece of copy. I would sign up to every email list. I could read every sales page, and I would break them down line by line and think, okay, why? Why is this line in here? Then I would write that out. Then I move to the next line and say, why is this line in here? I'll write it out. Then I would look at the entire headline or the lead as a whole and say, okay, what is the big purpose of this whole section? I would write it out. That's how honestly I feel like I got good quicker than most people, is by just doing this every single day. And recognizing patterns is the most crucial lessons of reading copy. When you start to recognize patterns, you start to see like, oh, this is why they're doing it. This is how they're getting these results. And you become able to kind of speak the language of copy. Now, there's 4 big copy emotions. This really makes copywriting on easy mode, to be honest. Like when you understand these emotions, because all sections of your copy are probably pushing one of these things. The first is new and only. That's just saying like, hey, this thing is new, and new gives hope, and only tells them that they can only get it from you, which creates this big kind of like FOMO emotion. Next is easy and anybody. So by making it sound easy, like anyone can do it, it makes them want to take that action because they believe that they can get the result. Next is safe and predictable. So a lot of people hate risk. Like they hate the idea of losing more than they like the idea of winning. Therefore, people want to stay safe. And so by making your copy convey the safe emotion, you're going to get your readers to take action. And lastly is big and fast. The bigger your opportunity sounds, the more quickness they need to act on it like now, the more action you're going to get. So these 4 emotions are essential when writing any piece of copy. And I have detailed notes on every section, which I'll show you guys later. Like in my library, you can actually just expand these and see all the big notes, but that's kind of what I wanted to cover just real quick. And then he also explained to me the 4 sections of copy. So you have the headline, then you have the lead, which gets them interested and expands on the headline. Then you have the body, which kind of breaks the beliefs and proves your points. Then you have the offer, which is like once you've sold them emotionally, sold them logically, you give them an offer to help them get the result that they want. And so once again, there's detailed notes that I'll give you guys at the end of this video on all that. So don't worry there. Cool stuff. Moving on to great leads. So speaking of leads, once I understood the idea of what a lead was, kind of like a hook per se, I read this book called Great Leads, which is the 6 easiest ways to start any sales message. And this book was epic. I've read this thing probably like 6 or 7 times at this point. I just keep coming back to it. So let's get into the notes. So the first thing that they talk about is you're trying to do 2 things with direct response advertising. You must, I don't know why those balloons keep coming up. You must move the prospect emotionally and then persuade him intellectually. So once you get someone emotionally involved and then you back that up with logic, that's when you make sales. And to start this, you need to have a big idea. So we talked about this, I think, in the last video. But readers are looking for one single useful idea that's strong, easy to understand, and easy to believe. If you want to see me break this down in detail, go watch the last video. But yeah, I use this in every video and every piece of copy, and everything I do always has a big idea, so you cannot overlook this. Then they go into the 5 levels of awareness. This is covered in Breakthrough Advertising. If you want to go in detail in this, go read Breakthrough Advertising. But yeah, we won't get into that here. It's really, really detailed. But then they go into the 6 lead types. So basically, depending on how aware your audience is, your readers are, depends on which lead type that you should use. And how they found these leads is they studied hundreds of the best performing direct response sales letters that have been written in the past 100 years. And they broke them down into these 6 categories, and they will help you write insanely good leads. If you want to see me break this down, go watch my video on how to write 6-figure headlines. I break these into detail. But yeah, there's more notes on these once again at the end of this video as well. So a lot of good stuff there. If you want to learn anything about leads and hooks, you need to go read this. Next is Scientific Advertising by Claude C. Hopkins. This is like the GOAT, the OG, the father of advertising. Everyone should read this book probably 10 times at least. Read this book every single quarter. It's so good. It's so good. I've read it so many times. And it's a very short read, so definitely go read it. So the biggest thing is treat ads like they are a salesperson for your business. Do not let your ads be performers, meaning don't let them look pretty and be cool. They need to sell. They need to work. Either the ads work or they get fired. So no matter how much time you spend on an ad or how cool the idea is, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, does this thing work? Do people buy? That's what matters. And the key to making a good ad is to always have your target customer in mind the entire ad making process. You must be able to put your brain into their body, or put yourself into their brain and think, what are they going to think every single time that they see this word or this video, this whatever? If you can put yourself in your customer's shoes, then you can write what they want to hear. Like, this is the secret. I cannot tell you guys how important this is. I have a 2-hour entire module on putting yourself in your customer's shoes in my course because of how much I seriously can't explain, like how much money this will make you when you finally understand it. And so then he goes into split testing ads, like the whole like psychology behind ads and basically the first principles. And the purpose of a headline is to pick out people you can interest. So you're not trying to address everyone. You're trying to address the right people. Because if you appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one. People love specificity. And so who are you exactly trying to interest? Think about the title of this video, right? 5 copywriting books you should probably read. It's directly targeted towards copywriters. Other people are not going to care about this. It's not 5 books that'll make you money. It's 5 copywriting books you should probably read. So it's targeted directly to you guys because you are who I help. And so address the people you seek and them only. Then he goes into understanding like the more psychology you know, the better. And talks about how curiosity is really strong, how cheapness is not a strong appeal. Like you want to be high prices. Then he goes into being specific and like how specificity is extremely powerful. Pretty good principles there. Then he just talks about kind of just some good things when it comes to doing ads and naming products and, testing everything. You really just need to go read this book. Like, it's such a good read. Even if you guys are not doing ads, like I don't do any ads currently. I'm starting them in like 2 weeks. But understanding the concepts he's talking about will help you make an amazing decision no matter what piece of copy you're writing, of understanding just these foundational principles about how you should structure things. So I can't recommend this book enough. Lastly, we have Expert Secrets, a more kind of current book that's going to be a little bit controversial, but this book really did change everything for me. No matter what you feel about Russell and anything, like this book is incredible and you need to go read it. And a lot of these ideas are not directly from Russell anyways. Like it's from his culmination of what he learned, and definitely worth a read, whether you're going to use these tactics or not. So I learned from this about the new opportunity. Basically, the big idea, the big new idea that you're presenting to your audience. In order to succeed in this business, you have to be prolific. You must have new and unique ideas frequently. And these ideas have to be persuasive, meaning they encourage dreams, they confirm suspicions, they justify failures, they allay fears, and they throw rocks at enemies. If you do these things, you have a very persuasive sales message. You can go watch my video on breaking down my 30K a month sales or 60K a month sales page. I think is what it is. Yeah, breaking down my 60K a month sales page. Go watch that video and see me break down my own copy of how I do these 6 things, or 5 things. Then he goes into basically how do you start a movement. So how do you share what you've learned? A framework for actually sharing your frameworks. He talks about niching a little bit. He talks about really how to create a new opportunity and how to create an offer that compels people to take action. this is why I would read this book, is to learn about the new opportunity, and then to learn about false beliefs. Those are the biggest things that I got from this book, is like, what is a new opportunity? How do you create an opportunity that's compelling, which is the core of your entire sales message, which coincides with the first book, right? And then also, how do you break these beliefs that are stopping people from taking action on your thing? So I learned about the 3 biggest false beliefs, which is basically saying this thing isn't right for me, or this could be right, but I won't be successful with it. It's like, I'm not right. And then I could have success with this, but there's an external thing holding me back. If you can break these biggest categories of beliefs, they'll have no reason not to buy your stuff. Then the next thing I learned was story selling. This is really big. Every single one of you should read this book for this reason, to learn this story selling technique. And I've covered this in older videos, but if you want to see, like, you want to get it from the horse's mouth, right? Go read this book. Then he talks about kind of his webinar script, which is good if you're going to write some webinars. And yeah, highly recommend. So these 5 books helped me get a 10K a month. These are like literally the biggest 5 books that helped me get there. So I can't recommend them enough. And I'm going to give all these notes to you guys and more. I have like 40 something books of persuasion in my library, which you guys can get at the bottom of the description, or you can just type this link into your browser if I forget to put it in the description. But yeah, no, this is not a lead magnet, no strings attached. I'm not going to capture your email. Literally, like, here's the library. Hope it helps, bro. And yeah, hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video.